Welcome to Ash and Animal Friends. Today's story is Saffron and the Moth who didn't like to share. Enjoy!
High up in the mountains of Michoacán, Mexico, there is a forest called El Rosario, and for most of the year, it belongs to a moth named Sable.
Quiet again today.
Sable said to no one, settling onto his favorite branch.
Good.
It wouldn't stay that way for long. Every winter, something happens that Sable has never quite gotten used to.
They're back.
Watching from his usual spot,
Again.
the sky filled with orange. Millions of butterflies landed on every branch until the whole forest looked like it was on fire, except the fire was soft and orange and alive.
Finally.
One exhausted monarch sighed to another, folding his wings the moment he landed.
I thought that last mountain would never end.
Weeks earlier, on that same long journey, one of them had stopped to rest on a reed in a warm, muddy wetland far to the south. A young capybara nearly jumped out of his fur at the sight of her. Sorry, she said, though she wasn't sure he'd even heard her before she took off again. She still had a long way to go,
Not this branch, too.
Sable muttered as she landed close by, folding her wings slowly to rest. You could say hello, she said, instead of muttering at me. I'm Saffron, by the way,
This is my forest.
said Sable. It's everyone's forest in the winter, said Saffron. That's sort of the whole point of coming here. Sable didn't answer. He just watched as more and more monarchs poured in, covering his favorite branch, his favorite patch of morning sunlight. You've gone quiet, said Saffron,
I'm always quiet.
said Sable. You've gone extra quiet, she said. He didn't argue with that one. By the second night, Sable had had enough.
You just take over.
He told Saffron, who was resting nearby with hundreds of other monarchs clustered close for warmth.
You crowd every branch. You never even ask.
We fly for 2 months to get here, said Saffron. We're cold and tired, and this is the only place warm enough to survive until spring. We're not trying to push you out,
Feels like it.
said Sable. Neither of them noticed the spider. His name was Bruno, and he had lived in the low branches of this forest waiting for this. A garden spider big as Sable's whole wing, tucked in the shadow of the bark, spinning thread after thread between two low branches.
Right there.
Bruno murmured to himself, pulling a strand tight and giving it a test tug.
Tired wings. Low branch. Not a single one of them looking down. This part is the always easy part.
He worked slowly, thread by thread, careful not to let the silk catch the moonlight until it was too late. Sable smelled him before he saw him. Moths are good at that, better than butterflies, who mostly fly by day and rarely notice what moves in the dark.
There you are.
Sable murmured to himself.
Saffron,
He said quietly,
don't move.
What?
There's a web. Right you're about to land with your friends.
Saffron looked down and finally saw it. The faint silver threads catching the moonlight, stretched directly across the low branch, where a dozen exhausted monarchs were already drifting down to rest, wings heavy, barely awake.
Fly up.
Sable called out.
Now all of you. Higher. Quickly.
Bruno felt the vibration in his web before he even saw movement. That familiar tug that meant something was finally close enough to catch.
Got you.
He started to say, already skittering down the silk fast. Faster than you'd expect from something his size. 8 legs pulling him straight toward the branch where the monarchs were still only half awake.
Sable, look out!
One of the monarchs cried, but it was too late for him to move, wings folding for a landing that would have been his last. Sable didn't think. He dove. He crashed into him and the monarch beside him, wings tangling with wings, and the three of them tumbled sideways, just as Bruno's legs snapped shut on an empty silk where they'd been sitting only a second before.
Up, up, up!
Sable shouted, half carrying, half shoving the two dazed monarchs higher into the branches.
That was too close.
One of them gasped, wings still shaking. Bruno scrambled back up his web behind them, furious at how close he'd come.
Not this time.
Bruno muttered, already spinning new threads to try again. The whole tree erupted into motion, thousands of wings lifting at once, orange and gold and frantic against the dark. By the time the branch was empty and the web hung torn and useless in the moonlight, Bruno had already retreated into the shadows to wait for a quieter night. Saffron landed hard on Sable's branch, breathing fast, one wing still trembling. "You saw it in the dark," she said. "You went straight at him without even thinking about it,"
I didn't have time to think.
said Sable.
I just moved. You fly by day, I fly by night. We just noticed different things.
Saffron looked at him for a moment. "My whole family has come to this forest every winter, longer than anyone can remember," she said. "And I never once thought about what it's like the other months when it's just you,"
I never thought about how far you have to fly to get here,
said Sable.
or how tired you'll be after flying that far.
Saffron settled beside him on the branch, the whole forest glowing orange and quiet around them. "Maybe it's not really your forest or my forest," she said. "Maybe it's just the forest, and we both need it." Sable almost smiled, which, for a moth, is a very rare thing,
There's enough room for two kinds of wings.
he said. By morning, Sable led Saffron toward his favorite branch, the one that caught the first light of day.
This one's mine, usually.
"Usually," said Saffron,
Today, it's ours.
said Sable, and for the first time, he didn't mind sharing it at all. Nearby, at the edge of the trees, a young white-tailed deer, who had been listening to the whole thing all night, stepped quietly out of the shadows, deciding this looked like a forest worth exploring. That, as it turned out, was a different story altogether.
That's our story for today. Now it's your turn. Do you have a story you want to share? Tell us about an animal you love and what kind of adventure they have. And as a grown-up, to send it our way. We read every story, and yours might be the next one we make. Link is in the show notes. Bye!